I feel like we could talk forever, Bob, with you, but we're nearing the end of our interview, and we're gonna just ask two more questions, our favorite two to close with.
Okay.
Um, and so the first is, can you tell us about a time where you felt like you failed and what you learned from it?
Hmm. Um, that's a really hard question for me because
Mm,
I honestly don't think about my past experiences in terms of failures.
Hmm.
And this is
mm,
something I try to mentor my students on. And that does not mean I've not made mistakes. I've made tons and tons and tons of mistakes. Um, but one of my professional mentors was a guy named Bob Nerum. And I don't know if you know that name. Bob was he passed away in 2020, but he was a cardiovascular biomechanist and one of the pioneers of the bioengineering field.
Wow.
And he has a list of 20 or so rules of life that I share with anybody who wants them. But one of them was that an unsuccessful experiment is not failure. It's just kind of a learning experience, and you learn as much from those and maybe more than from your successes. And so that's
mm,
something I've always tried to apply. And I think part of the problem with thinking about failures too much is it makes people afraid to make decisions and afraid to go down paths. And to
Hmm.
me, that's really the only real failure. Because like with startup companies, you learn every time you make a mistake. And so
Hmm.
that's
mm.
why I don't really, I guess I don't really, it's a hard question for me to answer that.
Yeah, I feel like failure has such a negative connotation with
Mm.
the word. Like maybe we just need to like call them research whoopsies or something.
Yeah.
But we hear that a lot in from other people, and I think that's a really good point to make. Is that there are less of failures and more of learning experiences, and I think thinking
Yeah.
about it in that way really takes the pressure off. Because I can think of times where I've made mistakes and of varying impacts, and it's scary at first. It's sometimes you have those heart drop kind of moments, but I think being able to talk about them and having a mentor like you who is open to talking about things like that, and when mistakes happen, then you can confront them head on and figure out your way, what to do and how to move forward and how to learn from it. And I think having that sort of mindset is really empowering.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think, the younger generation now, and I look at this with my two kids, that they're much wiser and better informed than we were. There was some value in being naive and just trying stuff and then adapting as you went along. I think now sometimes younger generation overthink things and they think if I make a
Mm.
mistake, it's going to be the end of the world, and it's really
Mm,
Hmm.
not. And so that's that's really we have a quote on our wall from Phil Knight which says, don't let anybody call your ideas crazy. Just keep going, and don't
mm.
even worry too much about where you're going. Just don't
Hmm.
stop. And I think that's a good philosophy.